Man, that feels a lot better. I thought I was just going to have to scream at you all through this entire thing. Let's move that too. How you guys doing? You here for the YouTube panel? Deep dive, I'm told, so that's great. This is actually my first time moderating a panel, so bear with me, okay? All right, so just off the bat, how many people here are creators and how many people here are brands? Just so we know who we're talking to. So raise of hands for creators, and then brands, industry. All right, so most of you in here are going to be, I'm guessing you're here because you want to inflate views, subscribers, talk about how to keep those people, right? Okay, perfect, let's do that. My name is Chris Saint, by the way. I'm actually a body piercer who lucked into TV by accident, and then eventually is now in contracts with game streaming and live streaming. So that's why I'm here. I use YouTube every single day through a company use Restream and also Mob Crush, which we'll talk to in about an hour. There we go. Do you guys just want to go through and introduce yourselves for a second? Tell everyone who you are as if they don't already know?
No, not really. But if I have to, I could. Yeah, what's up? I'm an OG YouTube star, 10 years under my belt. Had a few 100,000 fans and tens of millions of video views. And I said, you know, I'm going to give it up. I'm going to focus on the producing aspect. Today I have an animation studio with about 2.7 billion video views, about 12 million fans across social media. And I know how to diversify and really create a revenue stream that can support a studio on something like a YouTube revenue. I mean, look, if you want to kind of take a step back and go, how do I make this a long-term thing, something that lasts about maybe 10 years? I'm the type of guy to listen to.
Hi, my name is Bailey Sarian, and I started a YouTube channel in 2013, so I'm not an OG. Sorry,
Okay.
bow down. But yeah, I make makeup tutorials on YouTube, Instagram, Snapchat, all that stuff. And then I recently kind of ventured into true crime. I merged the two, so I do makeup and murder. It's a good time. And yes, thank you. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Matt Gion. I'm the founder of a company called Little Monster Media Co. We help brands build audiences on YouTube, been on the platform for probably 10, 11 years, built Channel Frederator, Channel Frederator Network, Cartoon Hangover, and one of our first clients at Little Monster was a small little YouTube channel called Movie Clips. They came to us and said, hey, we've been doing the same thing for 4 years. We're stuck at 150 million monthly views. Can you help us out? And we said, sure, thinking like, oh, well, you know, 10% increase here would be massive. Within 2 months, we had them at about 220 million monthly views. By the time our contract ended at 6 months, they were at 450 million monthly views. And they continued on that trajectory up to the 5th most viewed channel on a monthly basis on YouTube, topping about 1 billion views. So that's what we do.
I'm Tayson Day. I guess you would call me.
I'm sorry, hang on. I didn't get a clap? Like even just a courtesy clap? Thank you.
Let's clap.
I mean, I'm not an OG YouTube star, but come on.
Billions of views, what are you talking about?
I guess you would call me an OG YouTuber. I've been on the platform for 12 years. Started out singing in 2007. Had a viral video called Chocolate Rain. Parlayed that singing career to moving to LA and pursuing singing, acting, voice work. And I also stream on Twitch and kind of have my hand in a lot of different entertainment cookie jars. And I've worked with a lot of brands.
All right, thanks for being here. It is called the Deep Dive panel, but to start with, let's go just a little shallow. Everyone here wants to increase their viewership and they want to hold on to those subscribers. Can I just go down the table again? I know it's annoying. And ask you guys some of the key points that you would tell people to do if they're trying to grow their channel, and also the biggest things that you guys see that people are doing wrong, those cringeworthy things that you see people doing every single day.
I think people...
You want to say
I can let you go.
No, I mean, usually when someone hands me a business card or they have an app or something, I always, you know, and this seems obvious, but I always Google it, and I always say that if you are not in your own top 10 Google results, if you are not discoverable in search for whatever brand you are using, then that's a major inhibition, and it's good to consider rebranding or something where you're going to rank at the top of search for what you're promoting, because that will feed into being able to create your own echo chamber on social media if you use that identity on YouTube, Instagram, etc., and in many cases create a much clearer hill for you to climb.
Yeah, and let's not forget the parent companies of the infrastructure that we're using. YouTube is owned by Google, and Instagram is owned by Facebook, and sometimes we forget those things. So, sorry to interrupt you guys. So yeah, things we're doing right and things you see we're doing wrong.
Do you mind if I poll the audience real quick?
Yeah, go.
Okay. How many people think a 1-minute video is the best length that you could do for YouTube, generally speaking? 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 4 minutes, 5 minutes, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 20. Zach, how long is the most viewed video on Yo Mama?
We recently put out a 45-minute video that makes about $8,000 for every million views that we put out.
And how many millions of views does it have?
It's only sitting at 2 million views, but pulled in about $20,000.
There you go. So 45-minute long video, top earner last month or two.
What a 10-minute to 11-minute average watch time.
Yes. So most people make the mistake of making videos too short on YouTube. We did a big research report. We looked at 1,700 channels, 80,000 some odd videos. It's called Cracking YouTube in 2017. You can Google it. It's for free. It's out there. What we found was that the sweet spot for average view duration was somewhere in the range of 6 to 8 minutes, and the sweet spot for video length was somewhere in the range of, I believe it was 8 to 12 minutes. So most people are making content that's just too short for YouTube.
Perfect, thanks guys. Actually, Matt, I want to address one to you if that's okay. You actually wrote a book called Reversing the YouTube Algorithm.
I wish it was a book. It was just a research paper, but yes.
Okay, research paper. So you honestly, like, you wrote a lot about this. Can you take, that was in 2017, could you take us through what's happened in the last 2 years? Have things changed? Obviously, there's a lot of talk about algorithm on YouTube and Instagram. Like, people aren't seeing my posts, people aren't getting notified about my posts, and a lot of that gets blamed on the algorithm. Is that true? Like, what have we seen in the last couple of years?
Oof, well, I'm gonna have to dodge some landmines answering that question. But it's all the algorithm's fault if you're not getting viewership. But the algorithm depends on you putting content out there and putting the content out there that it has indicated to you through your own data that it wants to see. So unfortunately, it does all fall back on us in terms of viewership. I can only speak to YouTube. My company is 100% focused on YouTube. That's what we look at. In terms of how the algorithm has shifted in the last 2 years, I didn't know if you were, sorry. I didn't know if you were jumping in like
No.
this mother. It shifted a bunch, but really kind of minor tweaks. Like, if we think about what YouTube is aiming for, what they're aiming to do is to keep people on the site for as long as possible and to get them to come back to the site as many times as humanly possible. The verbiage that they used to describe that was something called watch time, which if you ever asked anyone at YouTube, what does that mean? They would have no idea, and each one would have a different answer for you. To viewer satisfaction, to what has now been reported as quality watch time. Well, what is quality watch time, and who gets to determine what video is a quality video, right? It's the audience that determines what is quality. If I'm being just as entertained in a 45-minute live stream of someone playing video games, how is that any more of quality or less of quality than sitting through one of the worst episodes of TV ever? Thank you, Game of Thrones. You know, they're subjective metrics. So you have to go back to what you can analyze on the YouTube front, which is essentially, is your content keeping people entertained for an extended period of time, and does that bring them back time and time again? And one of the metrics that YouTube put out in 2018, at the beginning of 2018, was views per unique, which they used to have, and then that went away, and then it came back after about 2.5 years of being gone. And views per unique is a really great indicator of whether or not someone starts their session or comes back to finish the video time and time again. And that can be really powerful in terms of driving viewership on YouTube. So lots and lots has changed, and very, very little has changed.
Perfect. All right, and then to widen it back up again, between you guys, we've got billions of views up here, like billions and hours and millions of hours of watch times. Sorry. At what point did you guys start out hoping that the channels would make money? Or did you start out trying to monetize those channels straight away? Or was there an exact point where you went, oh crap, I can make money out of this. This could be my living?
I actually want to kind of speak up here for a moment and recognize that a lot of creators will say that they did something because they thought it was fun to do and that money came after the fact. Not me. I came out of high school in 2008. I knew that people were making $100,000 a year off of YouTube, like Michael Buckley, and I said, I can do that. No doubt I can do that. I knew a guy that went to high school with me that was a YouTuber making a couple grand a month. So I saw it, I knew it, I understood it. First month, $20. Second month, $200. Third month, $2,000. By the 10th month, I was making over $15,000 a month off of YouTube. I went into it with the idea that this is a business. And let me ask you a question. I'll pull somebody else here. Let me pull. Who here considers themselves a creator? All right, put your hands down. Who considers themselves a business person? Who considers it the same thing? I'll be honest with you, it's exactly the same thing. If anything, being creative gives you motivation, being business gives you discipline. Discipline is way more sustainable than motivation. But motivation can give you fuel to go across the sky and beyond the moon. I, as a creator, can recognize what I can do as a creator, but I, as a business person, recognize the reality of my resources. And a lot of YouTubers fail to realize that them being creative does not mean you are a good business person. And often a good business person needs a little bit more creativity to sustain that business. And I find that often when people ask me what did I care about more, was it creativity, was it the money, was it the opportunity, was everything. It all lines up simultaneously. If I can sit there, I can make a dollar turn to $5 at the very early days of YouTube. Then I can be there from the beginning all the way up to the end. I can make as much money as I need. I can be as creative as possible as long as I put just a little business sits behind what I do. And that's exactly what Matthew did over here at Frederator. He taught me a lot as a business, as a creative, and I think a lot of people fail to understand that they can go hand in hand.
So since I'm here with you guys and you guys are like geniuses, I have a lot of questions. So how do you, if you are a creative, like me, I'm more creative than I am like money smart, let's be real here. How do you find a balance to be a smart company and also a creative? Like how do you merge the two together and make it work? Just self-discipline?
You gotta be grateful and eat shit at the same time.
Yeah, I am learning that. I've been eating a lot of shit though.
But are you grateful for eating the shit?
You know what, the other day I was really stressed out and I was not feeling grateful at all. I was just eating shit. So, but I'm like, okay, I have to be a smart business, but I'm have a hard time finding like how to do that. When you're such a creative, like you're kind of go with the flow, like I'm in the mood today to create content and tomorrow I'm not.
You know, I have a little bit of a long-winded answer, but I think Matt and Tezonde could actually give good perspective.
Well, I want to elaborate on the eating shit part. You know, because I think kind of to expand on that, there's in any YouTube channel, the algorithm is paying attention to your audience now. And, you know, as Matt brought up, there's a concept of watch time, which is how long they're spending on YouTube. Session time is how long they spend on not your channel, but everyone else's channel. All these other nerdy metrics, click-through rate, how much they click your videos when those videos are presented to them. And all of these things kind of determine whether your YouTube business is successful. And, you know, to some extent, if you're a passionate creator, you may make content that you're initially very passionate about and that you're creatively invested in, but you might kind of lose passion in that. And so I guess, you know, that kind of that part of, you know, to use the colloquialism, eating shit, is when you have a business sense that, okay, I need to create content that maybe it's not my favorite type of content, you know, maybe it's not my dream come true creatively to do this, but I need to do this in order to get the business to the next place. And kind of having a sense of when it's time to do that. One mistake I made with my career, with my channel, is that, you know, I went viral singing in front of bed sheets and being this happy, you know, chocolate rain, move away from the mic to breathe in, and kind of this happy character. And part of me wanted to be taken seriously. I wanted to say that I could show that I could sing like a Michael Bublé or a Josh Groban, and that I could sing well. And it kind of turned out that people didn't really care that I could sing well, they cared that I could be entertaining. And so that was a case where I probably should have just been entertaining and run with the brand. And you see people who did a great job with that, like Miranda Sings, where she didn't take herself too seriously and she leaned into the comedic character. And I think, you know, it's good to have a business sense of when to make that call.
So when we talk about that business sense and we talk about monetizing these videos, are you guys primarily going through the traditional YouTube monetization, like making sure you're eligible, watching that money come in, or are you guys going for third-party sponsorships?
It was actually a mix of both, I'll be honest with you. Back in the adpocalypse, you get older, you forget what year it is.
Which adpocalypse?
The first one.
Okay.
I don't know, 2017, right? I'll be honest, I lost a projected $250,000. I had enough views to say that I deserve an extra $250,000 and I could really funnel that into content. I didn't have that. My revenue dropped down by 8%, and he asked me when's the right time to make that decision. The thing is, if you're in this industry and you really believe in what the industry is, and you see it for the next 3 to 5 to 10 plus years, you will sit down and you will eat the shit that's given to you. And I cut my pay in half. Cut my revenue in half, I made it up through consulting, and I doubled down on the amount of money we're putting into production. And I'll be honest with you, I'll tell you something that I don't think anyone's ever publicly talked about yet. YouTube's algorithm, when it came to advertising, they pulled in a lot of different data from a lot of different Google products that predetermined whether or not our channel was advertiser friendly or not. I made the gut instinct to double down on production and to increase how much uploads we put up on YouTube, even if we were making 20% of what we used to make. And throughout that entire year, I uploaded over 150 videos onto YouTube. And that data point was enough to overturn whatever algorithm tag they gave our channel to say that we were advertiser friendly against all the Google product data that was given to YouTube, and our revenue quadrupled overnight.
Got you. I mean, that goes with, so what you're talking about is just blunt force trauma. You just keep putting out content consistently.
You have to. I mean, at the end of the day, what's the point of being in social media if you're not making content?
Got you. But one of the downsides of that also, we talked about monetization. One of the big things that gets talked about now is large YouTubers getting their channel demonetized, getting their videos copyright infringed for no apparent reason.
No, it's even more than that, because think about it this way. My channel was monetized, my videos were monetized, but YouTube had a backdoor algorithm that determined that my channel was not ad friendly. And because of that, even if I was ad friendly per video, I was not being served enough ads as I used to be served, monetized views.
Got you. So how do you guys each make sure that your content is going to be ad friendly and is not going to be demonetized, so you don't get that email that makes you roll your eyes?
Oh, Jesus. So what we advise our clients is a number of things. Kind of first and foremost is don't rely on machines to understand what you're saying in your videos, which seems simple, but I have a client who is a family vlogger. And one of their kids' names kind of sounds like a curse word. And so when we pulled up one of the automated transcripts on a video that was demonetized, every time he referred to his kid, it was like, shit, 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 right? And like, they're not gonna allow ads to run on a video that curses that much. They're gonna deem it as non-advertiser friendly. And they put out some guidelines recently that was like, well, don't curse in the first like minute and a half and that kind of thing. It's, you know, the same kind of things that you would see on network TV with the exception of news. In the news category on YouTube, independent news is almost always flagged immediately out of the gate. You can't show anything, you can't do anything like that. But kind of first and foremost, like transcribe your videos and upload that transcript. Be very careful with the metadata you put in. So almost all Google advertising is served based on, at least on YouTube, by the tags that you put into your videos, at least any keyword specific targeting, right? And if you tag your video like gun, violence, death, knife, any sort of controversial keyword, there's a much higher likelihood that it will not have advertising displayed on it, or its advertising will be very restricted.
I'm going to throw in an extra thing there. Are you aware of Google DreamDrop Image AI?
No.
Okay, so I use Google products to determine whether or not the AI determines the video to be advertiser friendly or not. We look at transcribe, we look at everything, right? Keep it short and simple. We did a Your Mama So Slimy. I mean, that's what we do. We make Your Mama jokes. We did Your Mama So Slimy. Nothing about that triggered anything. But when we looked at it from a screenshot and we fed that screenshot image into the Google DreamDrop Image AI, it recognized that the shape of the Y looked like a dog. I know, right? So weird. So obscurely weird. But the way that we drew the word slimy, the outline of the Y looked exactly like a dog, according to Google DreamDrop Image AI, and it thought that we were saying that your mama is a bitch. It really thought that.
That's a bit of a leap.
It was, but I go to my animators and said, let's change the text, let's make it a little bit more formalized, and I guarantee you we can override any demonetization we're getting hit with. And it happened. Every video monetized, no matter what. All because we changed the look of that Y.
And where I've used that, you're talking about like in the thumbnail, right?
No, not this thumbnail. This is like the first couple of minutes. Seeing that little imagery. Your mama. It knows what your mama is. It recognizes it as a maternal insult. It gives it a scale of 1 to 5, a 5 on the RACI, but it solved that Y as a dog. And that AI thought we were referring to the mom as a bitch.
Gotcha.
And as soon as we replaced the text, the font, it got rid of that assumption.
Yeah. So I guess to kind of like, to zoom the camera out a little bit, I'm not sure that there's a wide understanding of how smart YouTube is in determining whether or not the content of a video is vulgar. You know, what Zach is gesturing towards is that when you speak in the video, it actually text-to-speech transcribes that audio based on what you're saying. I just had a friend who, he runs a family vlog channel. He filmed a 10-minute long vlog that was totally innocent, totally innocuous, filled with kids and happy and smiling. And for a few seconds in that vlog, his camera passed a sign that was outside of a community pool that said, danger, risk of death, drowning, because you're not supposed to leave kids unsupervised in the pool. In any case, YouTube OCR text-to-speech that little part of the video and saw the word death, and that video kept being demonetized until he finally realized that he had to blur that sign. So ultimately, YouTube is paying attention to the text content in the video, the audio of the video. They're kind of trying to outsmart people who would otherwise be trying to outsmart them, who would be trying to get vulgar videos past the system, and sometimes it makes mistakes, as Zach pointed out.
Perfect. All right, so I'm going to jump a little bit right now, and you guys, I'm guessing one of you is going to roll your eyes at this. Should people with popular YouTube channels be live streaming on that channel, or is that? I mean, YouTube have already admitted that YouTube Gaming is dead. They don't support that anymore. But should people with these? Does it help viewership of videos? Does it hinder them? Are you going to get caught in a situation where there's a pool sign in the background, and all of a sudden the entire channel gets a flag? Is it beneficial? Is what I'm saying.
Live streaming?
Live streaming on the same network that maybe you have like 10 billion views.
Yeah. There was a study that someone just presented at a conference I was at there was no difference between whether a channel live streamed or not. With one exception, which was when you had a 24-hour live stream going, it was actually a very good user acquisition tool because of how heavily YouTube is pushing live streams right now. It tended to be shorter live streams that didn't have much of an impact one way or the other. It used to be that if you did a live stream, the next video or several videos that you put out would perform absolutely horribly. For one reason or another, they appear to have solved that. One thing I would say is that notifications don't appear to go out until you've been live streaming for 1 hour on YouTube. So if it is a big event that you plan on live streaming, one of the best practices is to have some sort of countdown or video running for about an hour before you come on.
Here's a question I have, because I haven't used the Premiere feature that much on YouTube, and have people had a positive
I
experience
love
with
it.
that?
Oh, you like
I
it?
love Premiere. Look, I'll be honest, I'm exclusive to Facebook when it comes to live streaming. Can't live stream anywhere else except for Instagram. I want to talk about that particularly, but what I can say is I'm allowed to use Premiere on YouTube. I'll tell you something interesting about Premiere. When you first make a video go live, you get hit that peak right there, right? In the first 1 to 2 to 3, maybe even 5 minutes. I get that peak with Premiere. Premiere, if you don't know what Premiere is like saying I'm going to live stream your brand new video for the first, if it's a 10-minute video, it's like live stream for 10 minutes with the comments coming in real time, and then after that time the video is done, it lives like an actual video on YouTube. YouTube Premiere does something very incredible, and I love it for this reason. It gives me my second bump. So when a video is done after 10 to 12 minutes, and it's been getting 1,000 views a minute, as long as it's been premiering, after that, it kind of re-premieres again, kind of re-notifies the audiences, and then that will double to 2,000 views a minute, to like the first 10 minutes, and then it will dip down to about midway through between those two metrics of when I premiered and when it went live. And it's like, I mean, look, if you're in the WWE and you need that little extra boost, just kind of make you feel better about your muscles, that's kind of the YouTube Premiere version of it. You give that extra, I heard a couple of coughs there, but I hear that YouTube Premiere is an extra boost that you could get. And I don't think people have taken advantage of it.
So as someone like me who's not crazily, hasn't used that feature and isn't crazy knowledgeable about it, does that feature automatically give you that second boost, or do you have to schedule that?
Look, if I got a video premiering at 2 p.m., I put it out there at 1:45. I give it about a 15-minute window where I engage and I interact, and I pump up the premiere of the video for about 15 minutes.
Got you. So it's scheduling the premiere after you've started already streaming?
No, it's more like you got to schedule ahead of time,
Gotcha.
if that makes sense. If you want it to premiere at 2 o'clock, you got to schedule it around 1:45, give it that 15-minute window. Look, if you don't know what YouTube Premiere is, actually play around with it. And I think that's the problem with a lot of creators, is that they want a lot of these answers. They don't want to give them themselves by playing around with a tool or feature. If I sat down and I said, look how many top 100 creators don't even know what CTR is, it's kind of sickening, to be honest with you. Because I think a lot of YouTube creators have these tools they don't want to play around with until they got 100% of the answers. But you ain't going to get an answer until you sit down and actually play around with it.
And part of that is YouTube's fault, though. Like, YouTube takes the opposite approach of Facebook, when it's like, oh, we have this awesome new tool, let's demote anyone who uses it and not talk about it and make sure no one actually experiments or plays with it. But that's really interesting on the Premiere front. I think you're doing it in the exact right way. Most creators these days are not doing promotion for the Premiere. They just expect YouTube to do the promotion for them, in the same way that they expect YouTube to put their content in front of any person who ever has watched one of their videos before. A lot of YouTube creators get lazy on the marketing front. We have a great presentation that we do just on thumbnails, and I put up all the different ways that movie producers promote a movie, right? Billboards, they got their guests on late night, they do bus takeovers, right? They run trailers, commercials, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And when you think about like what most YouTubers do from a marketing standpoint, it's like, well, I uploaded the video and I have this thumbnail on it, right? If you're gonna do a premiere on YouTube, you absolutely wanna promote it and make it an event, make it special, because if you just rely on YouTube to drive people to that premiere for you, you're not going to get very good results. Most YouTubers that have tried premieres don't have the same experience Zach has because they don't promote it. They don't market it. And a premiere is basically when you release a video, it functions kind of like a live stream of that video and a live chat with your fans in the moments before the video just becomes a on-demand video that people can choose to watch or not.
And look, you don't have to make it complicated. We're an animation channel. We're not getting on camera as a face, but people believe that the cartoon talking is a real person. And so we go in and we talk as that cartoon, and people are like, hey, notice me, notice me. I reply to the name, I say notice. And I do that for a few minutes, and I go, all right, 500 more likes equals more notices. And by the time the video's even done, I got a few thousand likes. I got a few thousand comments coming in every couple of minutes saying, notice me, talk to me, look at me, pay attention to me. And that creates so much momentum for the video once the premiere is done, and then that real notification goes out to say that a video went live. Perfect.
What are we going to go through next? All right, tell me if this is a moot point or not. Everyone, you start your YouTube video, you're doing this for a few months, and all of a sudden you receive a random email from a random company that says, hey, we want you to join our network. We'll share our video around your network, and all of a sudden there's a few extra 1,000 views in there for you. They make a bunch of promises. These are called MCNs, multi-channel networks. Did you guys start out with those? Do you recommend them? Are there any specific pitfalls that you would warn us against those?
I feel like that happened a lot, maybe 6 years ago, 7 years ago, when the goal of multi-channel networks was to aggregate as many channels as possible. I'm not sure that's as common an experience now.
Now that they're all gone?
Now, you'd be surprised how many.
They all went out of business.
Yeah, that's what I saw. I saw those emails coming in a lot less, and I'm thinking, okay, so is everyone just warned off these, or are these channels just disappeared now?
No, they're coming in a lot more for me. I have a couple dormant channels that are still getting a couple million views a month. Haven't uploaded in over 8 months, though. And people are trying to poach as much as they can from those channels. Let me tell you something. An MCN can do a couple different things for you if you're in the right position. If you're in the right position and you're not making a lot of money, but making good money, use a sign-on bonus as a way to get a good chunk of that 10% up front. Let's say I'm making $200,000 a year off of YouTube. I can ask for a sign-on bonus of $20,000. I'd rather have that $20,000 now versus over the course of 12 months so I can reinvest that $20,000 into more content and create more revenue. I'm beyond that now. If I give an MCN 10% of my revenue, I'm looking at over $100,000 lost in a year because they're not going to provide me $100,000 worth of value. There's a certain level you want to be at with an MCN. You want to be at a mid-level, but not completely top tier. You want to say, look, give me a little something and I can work with you to help me take the next stage. But I'll be honest with you, most MCNs can't really get you to that next stage besides a sign-on bonus, at least from my experience.
You don't want to be doing rev share at a top tier.
No. For me, it's 100% pass-through now. I actually tried to sign with an MCN recently that I was once with, and they really wanted 2%. And I said, no, that ain't going to happen. But I'm going to give you an example where I really think it works. And it's because of Matt over here. Matt used to be part of Frederator. And I had an MCN that wanted to give me $30,000 just to sign on for no reason, just to be a part of it. And this MCN actually went under and stole a lot of money from a lot of YouTubers. And I think some of us understand which one that MCN is. And instead of going with that MCN that did that, I went with the MCN that Matt was with, because Matt offered me a value that was unique to my channel, and he listened and heard and understood what my needs were and what his ability as an MCN was. If you want to be a part of an MCN and really get something out of it, you have to have that unique relationship value that honestly very few people like Matt can actually provide.
Thank you again. Yeah, I mean, at Frederator, so when I started Frederator, we launched Cartoon Hangover, which was one of the originals channels out of the very first YouTube originals tranche, right? They announced, oh, we got $100 million, we're going to give it to a bunch of people who have never made a YouTube video before, and they'll make great stuff, and that'll be fantastic, and almost none of those channels still exist. But they gave it to us to make Cartoon Hangover. And so we launched that, we did really well, we had a couple 100,000 subscribers, eventually went on to have the third largest Kickstarter in film and TV of all time, with being Puppy Cat, blah, blah, blah. But after launching that, we decided to launch the channel Frederator Network, which ideally was going to become Next New Networks 2.0 and have many different verticals and that kind of thing. But to start out, we were just going to have an animation network. And so our big value proposition to most animation channels was, hey, look what we did with Cartoon Hangover. In terms of building that audience, we can help you build your audience. And I think we did a really good job of that until we got a little bit too big. And then really the only thing we could do to move the needle was to promote them from a owned and operated channel, promote our network partner from an owned and operated channel, or work very closely with the bigger creators, because spending an hour with a smaller creator, maybe we take their monthly views from 10,000 to 30,000, which is a lot, right? That's a 3x, but relative, you're talking about an additional $20. Well, spending several hours with a creator of that size is worth a lot more than $20 just in terms of like the salary of the people doing it. And so we would spend a lot of time with our bigger creators, And that's part of the reason why the MCN model, by and large, doesn't exist anymore, because it's just unsustainable at any sort of scale. What you see now largely is rights protection, talent management or talent representation, or a studio model. And that's kind of what some of these MCNs have evolved into in terms of what they can do for creators. I'm sorry, I forgot the last one, which is like ad sales and direct selling of inventory or brand deals and that sort of thing. And I think a lot of MCNs have kind of a mixed record on that front. But in terms of like the services that a creator could need, like the ideal MCN was one that could provide all that. Certainly we couldn't provide all that at Frederator, but I think what was most important to you at the time was working with the team at Frederator that could do audience development and work with you on that front, as well as protect your content from a content ID standpoint. And those were the services that we could offer at that time. And I think eventually you outgrew that, right? Like you're teaching me stuff on this panel today. Like, what is that thing? And so, it's about collecting the companies or services around you as a creator or a media company that allows you to focus on what you do best, which is create content and entertain audiences.
And ultimately, you're going to gain a lot more value from having a direct relationship. You don't want to just have a relationship with a representative that works with you and have a relationship with their director, their head of directors. You want to have a relationship with their CEO and COO and CFO. And I'll be honest with you, back in my day when I first started, there was not an MCN. Machinima hit me up, offered me a great deal, I signed with them. But I think a lot of people that sign with MCNs today give away their ability to be a true creator by simply not bootstrapping and understanding the resources that they truly have at their hands. And they're giving away a lot of their opportunity and power to somebody else just because they think they have it slightly figured out more than them. Well, you need an extra hour or two a day, and you'll get it figured out pretty quick in the next couple of weeks. And you realize you don't need to give an MCN 10% of your revenue to figure out something that you can easily figure out within a week.
Yeah, I think something else to keep in mind is a lot of MCNs pitch creators on this sense of being able to integrate you into their marketing, get you brand deals. A lot of times if your content type is specific, like I have a friend who is, for example, a trombonist, which is a fairly specific type of channel, that really strengthens your capacity to reach out to specific brand clients and propose your own brand deals. And there are different ways to do that. I know this is a tiny sponsored panel. That's one service that can help creators do that. But I'm kind of curious as to people's different experiences with brand deals, or if there can be specific stories related to that.
Well, I know Bailey over here is definitely more unique than I am. I mean, you work in the beauty space and everything of that nature, and I know that's a very competitive space.
It's so competitive, and I mean, usually a brand will reach out to me and ask if I want to work with them, but for the most part, I've started to reach out to brands myself, and I find that that's actually helping me a lot. Just reaching out, giving examples as to when I've used the brand in a video, how many views it got, how many people clicked the link that I provided, the comment section, all that stuff. And I find that just reaching out myself has brought a lot more work, a lot more relationships with brands than waiting for somebody to message me. But of course, it's all like when people message me, I don't partner with everybody. I mean, you don't want to do that. Like, yeah, you want money, but
Well, I think that's the interesting thing about you. It sounds like what you do is you create a case study, and then you reach out to the brand to show them that case study.
Exactly, yeah, and I lay it all out. Like, if I can provide them how many people click the link to the specific brand that I want to work with, they love that. And then obviously the video itself, they want to see how well it performed, how many people watched it, comments, all that stuff.
And you know what? MCNs could very well and do that, but when you do it, you're always making sure it gets done. You're going out there and you're like, I did this is a case study, let me present it to you. And that's the initiative that I think a lot of creators need to have, that they often give up to MCNs who simply cannot do it for everybody.
Yeah, you get lost in the mix.
Exactly.
Okay. Well, we've only got about 5-10 minutes left, so you guys if you have any questions, which I'm sure you do, because I do, get those ready, and I'll just ask like another faraway question to you guys. This is just me and my background wondering if have you guys had any experience with immersive media on YouTube? Is that also dead now? Are we past the point where VR videos are a novelty, or if they have content, do you think they're still viable?
I think the market didn't meet the hype. in terms of people acquiring the actual hardware needed in order to really enjoy it. And so it never got to a place where it could really innovate. I don't think it's gone. I think it just needs probably another 3 to 5 years of time to mature.
I mean, it's no different than like the Atari versus Nintendo, right? It's like the Atari came out and people loved it, but it didn't really pick up because the market wasn't there. And then Super Nintendo came out and really picked up a few years later. You can't let technology die because it didn't pick up. You just got to keep playing around with it.
Yeah, and a lot of the creators right now, what you see is the hardware and the gimmick of the thing is enough. And then there's no actual content in the video. It's like anything else. If we sit at these panels all day, all we hear over and over again is content. It has to be good quality content, and I think that's good.
I wouldn't dive into anything like that unless YouTube gives you a grant. What's they do? They give grants upwards of $15,000 to $25,000 just to do anything VR, AR. Mm-hmm. So if you're going to do that, get a grant for it.
Mm-hmm. All right. So do you guys? Oh, here we go.
If you're at a kind of a few thousand followers and 300,000 views or something like that, what's your top advice to grow your audience? What would you focus on? I'm in the travel space.
Double down on what you already do. I mean, Matt.
Does that mean doing more? What does double down mean?
The majority of our consulting comes down to do more of this because it's working really well, do less of this because it's shooting yourself in the foot, right? Like people don't necessarily realize on YouTube that you can actually harm yourself by uploading content because of the impact that click-through rate has on future video and past video performance. So if you put up 3 or 4 different types of content, slim it down to either the best performing or the best 2 performing types of content. If you upload very infrequently, upload far more frequently, kind of at a minimum, you need to be at 1 a week. Really, that's not quite good enough. You need to be at 2 or 3. Right now, we're seeing that higher volume channels aren't doing quite as well as they once did. WWE YouTube channel. I don't watch WWE, just as a disclaimer. But it was like the 5th or 6th most viewed channel on YouTube in September of 2018 at around 1.2 billion monthly views. By the time December hit, it was at about 200 million monthly views. And they're one of the highest frequency uploaders on YouTube. So you can do very, very well with fewer uploads these days on YouTube, but you still got to be putting out enough content to grow your audience. Like, we tend to look at each new video as a new data point, and really as a new bet on like the roulette wheel, right? You want to build up a library so that that library can bring audience to you, so that that new audience can be promoted your YouTube videos, because YouTube doesn't care if someone's subscribed to your channel or not. I know that was a question out of a few in the preamble. What they care about is how someone interacted with your content in the last time that they were promoted your content, right? And the vast majority of viewership is driven through browse, which is the YouTube homepage, or suggested videos, right? Very, very little through notifications or like a subscriber feed or something like that.
So I'll give an example here, real quick. We're a cartoon. We make cartoons. You think anyone that loves a cartoon will love any cartoon we put out? Not true. The fact is that by simply doubling down on the you mama stuff, people are like, you mama is an insult, right? Well, how can we make you mama funny? In the sense of you mama's so smart, you mama's so strong, hot, you mama's so American, yo daddy, yo kitty cat. And by focusing that core concept of the yo mama joke concept being repurposed across different types of content of that nature, we've been able to quadruple our views very quick versus trying to create any sort of cartoon that would appeal to any animated audience. It's like, yeah, they love cartoons, but it doesn't mean they love all cartoons. Maybe they love traveling, but maybe you go to a very specific part of the world that they really love, and that's what you need to double down on.
All right, I think we might be able to fit one more question in, and then we have to go away. So, can we get over there in the orange sweater? Is it orange? I don't see colors too well, so it's kind of orange to me.
Yeah. So a common problem that I hear from non-YouTube friends or friends who they might not necessarily be wanting to build an audience, but they have something, they'll be talking to me on the phone and be like, hey, I have my acting reel on YouTube and it has 38 views and that's embarrassing and I'm reluctant to show it to anybody. And YouTube actually makes it relatively easy with Google AdWords. It's not super complicated to buy traffic for a video, and I think the bids start at a penny per view. So, I mean, if you go to Google AdWords, it's not impossible to say spend $50 and get a particular video to have 5,000 views, or if you want to target it more. And you know, something else that a lot of YouTube creators do on the back end, even successful channels with millions of subscribers, is in addition to the organic reach that their videos have, they'll reinvest running that video through Google AdWords as a YouTube ad to show that video through paid advertisement to people, and kind of there'll be the organic reach and the paid reach.
That's actually a good piece of advice. It's what we usually call arbitration, in the sense that you spend a little money to get more views that make you a little bit more money to reinvest. That's what BuzzFeed does. But if someone came to me today, and they do often, what advice would you give me about YouTube? I say, no, don't look at YouTube. Really don't. I want you to take a step back and really look at the landscape. Look at something like TikTok. And I know that sounds like a really kind of cliche thing to say, but look, my entire team's made out of other creators. Everybody on my team has a big following of a few 100,000 fans or more. And my voice actor, Brock Baker's been with me for 8 years, and I love that guy to death. I say, you're the funniest people, one of the funniest people I ever know, and I will watch your content all day. But do not put time on YouTube. You need to be somewhere else. So he goes on TikTok, he creates this video, he's like, hi, my name's Brody Fox, I'm the voice of your mama, whatever. Really quick 30-second clip, got 3 million views over the weekend, grew from 5,000 to 300,000 fans. Renewed his ability to create content. He is more energetic than I've ever seen anybody. I'm talking about an old school YouTube creator that was there long before me, who I've always looked up to, who lost faith in YouTube and lost faith in the ability to create content and make a living off of it. And sure, I'm his #1 source of income, but I always wanted to renew that interest in content creation. I'll tell you right now, if you want to do something right, don't be the first person to do it, but don't be the third or fourth. Be the second person to do it right. If you want to get into something, don't get into YouTube. Get into something that someone else is already into, like TikTok or whatever else is out there. And I'll tell you something right now, and I hate to say this because it sounds kind of limited, but really look at the way Chinese companies are investing in social media. Look at the way their money's flowing into different platforms. And if you see a lot of money flowing into something like TikTok, say, look, I'll put my time and effort there. Even if it's not YouTube, even if I don't make that revenue instantly, I'm telling you, get in day 2, not day 1 or day 3, but day 2, and you'll find yourself with a possibility of a long, sustaining career, more so than you can ever get into YouTube right now today.
All right, we actually have to end it right there. So big round of applause for our panelists, and thank you guys for sitting through us. We'll be back in a second with the gaming panel.